My name is Kate Reed and I am an author-illustrator. My first book is One Fox, which is a counting book thriller, and the one after that is called Boo, and it's a colour book mystery. And most recently, The Littlest Elephant, and then I have also had some other books coming out soon. I've done one which is called Birds of a Feather, which is 3D pop-out birds that you piece together and you can hang up, which is a non-fiction. And I work mainly in collage. I do drawing as well, but mainly collage artwork. That book in particular, I don't know that I can take credit for the three-dimensional element because the publisher came to me with the idea, but to be able to think three-dimensionally or to look at the page and think of it as a proscenium arch theatre, it is a very similar thing. You know, you have essentially a theatre space with your characters walking on, and you can create these layers of the world. So sometimes when I'm looking at an illustration, I'm thinking in a three-dimensional sense, and I mean something that I always love in my work is the elements of the texture and building up the layers, you know, a bit like a theatre set, it's the layers going back. So yes, I think there are the transferable things. Theatre design has a lot of transferable skills to illustration. I think when I chose my degree, I was very young, I loved literature, I loved reading, I loved books, and I loved art so much. And so I put the two together and got theatre design, and I did love the theatre, but I think my heart was really illustration, I just didn't realise it. The skills that you learn along the way are so important because you take it all with you. I felt I needed to learn all these different things, so I learned text analysis, so I could read through the script and understand what it really meant, which is something that you do in illustration as well. And also I did model making and costume design and always experimental theatre and playing with textures and patterns and shapes. And so I think whatever degree you do or however you find your way to illustration, it's all part of the process. I think, I mean, all these things that we learn along the way, at the time when I was younger, I felt like I'd taken the wrong turn, the wrong path, and it took me a really long time to work out which path I wanted to be on. But these are the things we learn that make us better. You know, I had to sort of exercise all these different ideas. I went and learned pattern cutting and clothes making and screen printing, and all of these things feed into my work now. Cutting things up and playing with paper. I do like learning from mistakes, and I love the happy accidents. So when I'm creating work and I have got lost in the playing and creating textures, the best ones, the ones I love, are the ones that I really had nothing to do with. I just allowed the mark making things to find their way and create those lovely, lovely textures. That would be amazing. Yeah. I mean, there's so many brilliant children's productions out there. There's theatre makers that are making such lovely, lovely productions. And what I love is the way they can take a book which appears so simple and turn it into a half an hour production. Yeah, I would love that. Well, lockdown obviously was really tricky for everybody. Through lockdown, I have 3 children, and so there was quite a lot of schoolwork, teaching at the same time. When I was working, I had to just shut the door because my daughters love to come in and create work as well, and they take all my materials and they, you know, they take pieces of paper and pens and make lovely artwork. So. Yes, for me it was escapism because I could just shut the door and go away. But also where I live is out in the countryside, so I think it didn't have that intensity of the city. I aim to make beautiful artwork. That's the thing that I want to do. And I love making the artwork, but I think if you haven't got a good story, there's not much point in having beautiful artwork. So they have to work together. And it's interesting you said about colour. Colour is the thing that I just love. I mean, colour is my starting point for everything. And I try so hard to stick to kind of a limited palette, but then I get all my papers out and I love it so much. So I have to work quite instinctively and just hope that I get all the balances right. But yes, the story absolutely has to work. You have to have a good beginning, a good middle, and a satisfying ending. Otherwise, it's just pretty pictures, isn't it?